Hi guys, welcome back. I filmed for you the whole treatment and I'm going to show you how to create the wispy look using London Lash Pro Mayfair lashes in M Curl. I think you will really enjoy this one as the modern effects are more and more popular among clients and they look really good on Instagram pictures, so they will definitely bring a lot of attention. As always, links to all the products I'm using will be available in the bio under the video, so check them out after. And don't forget to like and share this video and of course subscribe to my channel. So I've done the prep of the lashes as I usually do. If you are interested in seeing how I do it, click on the link above to watch the full video of my pre-treatment routine. I'm now ready to apply eye patches, and as you can see I'm doing two small cuts on each one of them. These tricks help me to better fitting them on different eye shapes and cheekbones. Can you see how the cuts slightly spread out on the cheeks? That will prevent the eye patches from lifting up during the treatment. With two pieces of Dynarax tape, I'm now securing the eye patches so they don't move during the treatment. I also like to use the tape to get closer towards the waterline and get better contrast, as like you probably saw, I placed the eye patches slightly lower from the eye to avoid the discomfort and irritation. If the eye patches touches the eye during the treatment, they might cause bruising and pain, so always try to place the eye patches at least 1 mm away from the waterline, and then using a tape that is much thinner, you can reach much closer and cover all the bottom lashes. Also, when I'm adding the tape, I usually do it on the closed eye, so when I slightly lift the eyelid, I can see exactly where the tape should be placed. This technique requires some practice, but once you get comfortable with it, you will never experience problems with eye patches getting on your way during the treatment or lifting the lashes. So take your time and make sure eye patches are comfortably applied, not only for the client, but also for your own work comfort. I cut two small pieces of sticky tape and now I'm lifting the inner and outer corners to get better access to this part of the eye and clearly see the roots. Just a quick check with the dental mirror if I accidentally didn't lift the eyelid too much and didn't open the eye. This is very important, as if the eye will be just slightly open, the glue fumes might get into the eye, causing the chemical burn. So before you start lash application, always make sure both eyes are fully closed. Now is the time to apply my very favorite Rosemary Bio Cleaner that will help me to increase the drying time of my glue and improve the retention. I honestly love this product and I really recommend it. It has some alcohol in it, so try to avoid skin contact, especially if you have a client with sensitive skin. And to avoid the product getting into the eye, tap the excess of the product onto the tissue. Now, once the lashes are fully prepared for the treatment, I can start with drawing the mapping. I find mapping very useful, and even though I have over 4 years of experience in eyelash extension, I'm still drawing the mapping for every single set of lashes. It helps me to keep both eyes in even shape and makes it much easier when I, for example, need to transit from one curl to another. In this case, it will also make it much clearer to show me which spikes should be placed in which sections. Today I'm drawing mapping for square eye shape, so I keep inner and outer corners very short, and I will place the longest lashes under the arch of the eyebrow, which usually starts from the middle of the eye and go all the way to the point where eyebrow starts to going down. With the wispy look, I try to keep the base short and I usually don't go above 11 mm. On top of the mapping I just did for a base, I will now add sort of mapping for spikes, so I exactly know what spikes length should I add in each section. The more planning I do beforehand, the faster my work will be, so I like to plan everything and don't think too much during the treatment. Depending on the effect you want to achieve, you should have 2 to 3 mm longer spikes. So for example, if my base in one section is 11 mm, in this section I'll add 13 or 12 mm long spikes. In this video I'm showing you how to create wispy look by placing spikes on top layers only, and this technique is very easy to recreate even if you are a beginner in modern lash effects. I will now quickly show you how to easily build a spike. Remember that the spikes, in order to be visible, they need to stay close. And also the bolder you want your lashes to look, the more glamorous effect you want to achieve, the bigger spikes you will have to use. But I today want them to look quite natural, so I will use quite thin spikes. So I'm gonna use 2 to 4 lashes per spike, and to make them stay closed, I'm grabbing the lashes quite high, almost by the tip, and then dipping them at least 1/3 of the length of the lash in the glue. So the glue keep the lashes closed, and the moment I place them on, they're not gonna create like this little fun and will be nicely visible once the set is finished. So like I mentioned before, in today's video I'm going to show you how to create wispy look by placing spikes on top layers. When I'm working with volume lashes, I like to work lash to lash, so I usually start from outer corner and then gradually move towards the inner corners, making sure I feel every single lash. And I follow the same rule when I'm creating wispy look. The only difference is that I will be filling the top layers with spikes first, and then once I have that part done, I will move back and fill the left lashes with volume fans. So starting from the outer corners, I'm finding a top layer fully grown lash to place the spike on. Try to always place spikes on the longest and strongest lashes, as the spikes are always a bit heavier than the volume fans, and you don't want to cause any damage to the natural lash. What could have happened if we placed a thick heavy spike on a baby lash, for example. Also, if the natural lashes are in the grown stage, they might start twisting or growing extremely long within a few days. That's why it is always safe to go for so-called adult lash. Also, always pay attention to how big is the section you are working on and plan your spikes accordingly. So, for example, if the section you are placing the spike on is quite small and have only few lashes, one spike per this section will be more than enough. But the bigger the section you will be working on, the more spikes you will have to put. On average, in this technique, you should use 15 to 20 spikes per eye. Another thing you need to remember is to always place spikes under 90-degree angle to the lash line. If the spikes you just placed get twisted, remove it straight away and replace it with a new one in the right position. I will continue placing spikes through the whole lash line. Once I finish with placing spikes on top layers, I can give them a quick brush and check with the dental mirror if they are placed correctly. And if I'm happy with the result, I can now move to filling the rest of lashes with volume fans. When working with M and R curls for the very first time, it's better to practice for a little bit, because the technique you are using and the way you're working with them is slightly different from regular C or D curls. First of all, the fans you creating should be narrow, as the set will look better with narrow even fans. I also find the best technique for working with these curls is the rolling technique. So place the bunch of lashes on the strip and then, using the tip of your tweezers, roll them through the base of the lashes. The pressure you will put with your tweezers should make the lashes open, creating nice and even fun. Using this technique, you have to remember to find the balance in pressure you will put on the lashes, so not press too hard, but enough to make the lashes to open. Once your fan is created, grab the lashes with your tweezers in the spot where the lashes starts to angle, and then pull them towards your face or the ceiling. Now we can finally add volume fans, and again I start from outer corner and will move towards inner corner, making sure I feel every single lash. I find I get the best results in creating wispy look when I don't focus on creating the smooth lash line, which means in this technique I will place the same length of lashes on all layers. So if I work with 9mm section, I will put 9mm lashes on bottom, middle and top layer. The only thing you will have to pay attention while working with this technique is the transition between sections, but I will explain that to you with the diagram. So I start the transition once I get closer to changing the length, and from the diagram I will show you the transition between 9mm section and 10mm section. So as you can see on step 1, we still have 9mm lashes on all layers. Then in step 2 we start the transition, and I start the transition by adding 10mm lashes on the bottom layer. Middle and top layer stay in 9mm. Then in step 3 I'm adding 10mm on the middle layer, so bottom and middle layer will have 10mm, top layer stay in 9mm, and the last step, that's the step when we finish the transition, and we finish the transition by adding 10mm on top layer, so we have top, bottom and middle in 10mm. I will then carry on putting 10mm through the whole section until I have to do the whole transition again, and I will repeat the whole process every time I'm changing the length and section. Well, that would be it. Kim K style or wispy style lashes using London Lash Pro Mayfair lashes. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, please leave them below. I'll be happy to read them and answer all your inquiries. Also remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet, and like this video if you enjoyed it, so I know what content to work on in the future. Also, I would like to remind you about the 10% discount code you can get from London Lash Pro website, and the code is also in my bio, so make sure you check that out after. Remember that you can also follow my social media, my Instagram profile, Victoria_London Lash Pro, where you can find a lot of useful and interesting tips and tricks from the lash world. Yeah, and that's it for today. Once again, thank you very much for watching, thank you for supporting me, and I hope to see you next week. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye.